In this Photoshop quick fix video, we're going to take a look at how to isolate an object and keep it in color while changing everything else in the image to black and white or a solid color. And so I thought it'd be fun to use this photograph. Since it's a nice sunflower, it stands out, and of course right now these other flowers are kind of competing with its attention. So let's say we want to just isolate the sunflower and to not take forever to have to do it and make it really stand out against this background. So the first thing I'm going to do is zoom in here on our sunflower, just so maybe not quite that far, so that it fills our screen. And we have a number of options in Photoshop that we can use to silhouette our image, from paths to we could use one of the lasso tools, so on and so forth. But we're going to actually use one of my favorite tools, and that is the quick selection tool. And I love how quick this is. You'll see I just simply click and drag, and we're going to just simply use a brush size of 10. We don't have to use anything large here. And I'm just going to start moving my mouse around the photo here, and you'll notice that it's already figuring out what parts need to be selected and which ones don't, based upon the colors that I'm choosing as I drag my mouse. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay, because you'll notice we picked up a little bit of the pink here, and some of the areas here on the edge we didn't quite get. So now I can just zoom in a little bit further, but you saw how quickly I went through that, right? And so I'm just going to come up here and add some of the tips that didn't quite make it here. Just add a little bit here and see if we can subtract some of that green. To switch to subtract mode, just simply hold the Alt key down, or the Option key if you're on a Mac. And we'll just add a little bit here. This doesn't have to be perfect, okay? We want to remove this pink. And maybe remove some of this pink here as well. Now, these little feathered flower things here, whatever these are, they present a problem, and I'm not really going to worry about them right now. Probably this corner here shouldn't be included either, so let's just get rid of that. And so now that our basic selection is made, I'm going to copy it. We only have our background image here, so I'm going to hit Control-C to copy, or Command-C if you're on a Mac, Control or Command-V to paste. And so now we have our sunflower just by itself. And we can actually go in using the eraser if we want to just kind of clean this up a little bit. But what I'm actually going to do, just because it makes it easier in the long run, is use a layer mask. So I'm just going to click layer mask and pick a small brush, maybe 10, with a hardness of 0. And I'm just going to go around the flower here just to clean it up a little bit. You don't have to be crazy about it, but just to basically paint in some of the areas, some of the fringing that happened from our quick select. So again, I'm using a fairly small brush. You could use a bigger one if you like. It's really whatever you're comfortable with. And the reason why I'm using a mask instead of the erase tool is because if I make a mistake, using a mask makes it very easy to go in and fix. Or if I need to get down into a corner, it's a lot harder to do with an erase tool versus using a mask. Because with a mask, I can overshoot, like right here, this corner. Like I can go in and overshoot that, and then switch to white, which I'll do here in a minute, and paint back in the area that I overshot. So that's why I prefer to use a mask tool most of the time whenever I'm doing real quick silhouettes like this. And again, I'm just kind of rushing this to give you the basic idea here. Clean up a couple areas over here real quick. The other thing that I should point out is that very often I will also feather the edge just a little bit before I make the copy and paste. I didn't do that here, and I think it'll be fine to not do that, but that's another thing you'll do. Maybe just choose to feather it, say 1 pixel. Let's just take a little bit of a fringe off there. Okay, we'll call that good. And if I really wanted to get crazy with it, I could clone out or use a healing brush to get rid of a lot of these spots. Very simple, just, you know, with the spot healing brush, just paint, or actually we should do it on the main image, not the mask. So we could get just, even if we got rid of the big blemish areas, so that the sunflower looks a little bit more whole. Okay, so we could probably actually just get rid of this line here. Okay, it's a little messy, but that's good enough. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is turn our underground or underneath layer on, and we're going to come up to Image, Adjustments, and Desaturate. And so we already have our background basically set, but we can use levels to tweak it. So if we want to darken it up a little bit more, maybe add a little contrast to it, something like that, we can. And the other thing that we can do, I mean, that's basically we're there just already. But one more thing that we could do is actually add another layer. Select a color, doesn't really matter what. I have a green selected here. Just fill that layer with green. And then we're going to set the blend mode to color. And so it tones the whole background. And then we can turn down the opacity to determine how much of that we want to actually shine through. Just maybe make it subtle. And that's it.